Sunday morning, October 4th. Crisp morning. I would say maybe 4 degrees. Can see my breath. But very quiet. Very quiet and still. And Pippi has been sniffing everywhere. Just like she is right now. I don't know if it's tracks of the animals, the plants as they're moldering in the fall, and the leaves, you can smell the leaves. You can smell that crisp, clean air, and you get that, I don't know what you might call it, the pungent smell of the leaves. So we still have colors. No wind right at the moment. And I forgot to post my mumbles yesterday. I made them, but I forgot to post them. So I'll be posting a daily double. So I don't even remember what I talked about yesterday. I probably said something about the COVID effect in the White House, which I didn't pay any attention to the news yesterday, because when you boil it all down, you can't believe a word that comes out of the White House, and then you got the CNNs, the MSNBCs, and even CBC, which I prefer to watch when I really want to kind of pay attention. They're getting the feeds there from the same sources. The only difference is the perspective or the opinion that surrounds the whatever the quotes story is. I was going to say facts, but I can't vouch for them as being facts because I don't think the truth comes out. They've got ulterior motives. They meaning the cabal of corruption that's in the White House. And I don't know what's going to happen, but the worst case would be Trump croaks or gets very seriously ill. So there is some positive there, particularly with respect to him being taken out of the picture. The problem is that Pence is a wacko too, in a different way. He's got these bent religious perspectives, and he's been brainwashed by the Trump mob. But at least I think some of the destructive urges that Trump is driven by would be replaced by his religious, quotes, moral perspectives, which I think are dreadfully regressive. And you never know if he might get I have to step on that little... Oh, Peppy's going to take me this way. But if he has to take control, you've got the election. And I'm not sure what happens if the primary candidate, the nominee, is incapacitated, what they would do. I don't know if they would put Pence on the ticket or somebody else on the ticket as the candidate. I have no idea. Maybe they talked about that yesterday, but I wasn't paying attention. So, and the good part of that would be that the nomination for the Supreme Court would be stalled because apparently 2 or 3 of the senators that are so stupid that they got infected as well are unlikely to be participants in whatever the goings-on would be to get the nominee installed. So that's the positive I was thinking. Otherwise, who knows? It's maybe somebody's got some insights. So what else? Well, let's just look down the road here. You see the orange is the dominant color there, with brownish, gray, greenish mix. We haven't walked down this way, I don't think, all summer. Oh, we did once. We went to the log village, which is to get to the log village from our house is probably to the road. It's probably 2.5 clicks. So that's a 5-click walk if we get there. If we go into the log village, that's add another 1.5 clicks. 3/4 in and 3/4 out. Something like that. But Pippi is the one that's leading today, and so I don't mind if we go to the log village. My hand is getting cold here. What else have we got to say? Oh yeah, I was going to mention in my mumbles the other day, I was planning to do fillet of sole the way we normally do it, and that's with a little bit of salt and pepper and a little bit of butter, and depending on our mood, bread it with a little light coating of cornstarch or flour with, who knows if there's sesame seeds lying around. Anyway, I was given a suggestion by my buddy Bill to try steaming it. So I had already got the potatoes cut for roasting, and had been soaking them for about 3 hours in water when I decided, yeah, I'm going to try the steaming of the fillet, the sole, yeah. And so I changed the theme, if I can call it that, the seasoning, to an Asian seasoning. And Lily's had this Asian seasoning, I forget what it's called actually. And I said, well, let me try it on the potatoes, because normally I use a vegetable seasoning that I forget the brand of it, but it comes from Costco. And I usually just liberally, drench the potatoes in olive oil, sprinkle with the seasoning, the vegetable seasoning, and sometimes add a little salt and pepper, and roast. Well, this time I used that Asian seasoning with the olive oil, and I roasted them on the barbecue, and I was very pleasantly surprised on that front. For I don't know how many times, I don't think ever, I've had Asian themed meal with potatoes. So I steamed the sole, and I prepared the Asian dressing sauce, which I often do anyway. I mean, I make stir fries and whatever, but it's just basically a little bit of soy sauce, a little bit of ginger. This time had no garlic, but I often use garlic. And I use maple syrup instead of the sugar. And sauteed up the the ginger and the little bit of green onions, not the soft green part, but the whiter part. And they were all julienne. That was the thing. Julienne the ginger, and julienne the green onions, shallots. No, those, you get confused. When I grew up, green onions were called shallots, and then in Quebec they call those little sort of semi-onions shallots. And I often use the shallots also, but not in this case. Anyway, to make the long story short, steamed it all up and prepared the sauce and drizzled it all over with some sesame seeds. And I also had prepared some julienne leeks that I had sauteed in olive oil, and they become almost caramelized, and just threw those on top along with a little bit of parsley. We didn't have cilantro, which the recipe called for, and I have to admit that I'm going to have to do that again. It was a nice change. You get let's call it a cleaner taste without using oil, in this case using the steamed sole. So, and yesterday I made a variation using scallops, somewhat similar but not quite the same. And then I forgot I was going to throw on my my bean sprouts. So the bean sprouts are left over. So I'm going to make something today, probably a stir fry with chicken or maybe shrimp. So that's what we did over the last couple of days. We're trying to cut down on the beef, and I prefer a nice Asian style seafood anyway if I had it. So there you go. Now I'm just going to stop for a minute so you can hear what a Sunday morning looks like, or feels like, sounds like. God, I'm mumbling. That's why we call them mumbles. Hang on, Pip. I hear a sound of some kind of a machinery or something far off in the distance. It's almost, or maybe it's the sound of electricity going through the wires, I don't know. Anyway, we're going to sign off. The mumbles for October the 4th. I hope everybody enjoys what's shaping up to be a decent day. And we'll be back tomorrow.